you have to, if you don't try it and you fail, what's the best case scenario? I almost said it. Did you notice that?
I did.
I almost said
I love your reframe. What's the best case scenario?
What's the best case scenario? Because that's a work in progress versus what's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? It's all going to work out.
My husband says, whenever you're faced with something, it can be a decision, a challenge, or whatnot, you need to step outside it and you need to walk around the problem. I do some coaching with a firm called Level 52, and we call that forecasting friction. And that is really about looking at, because we can, if we don't look at the dark without the light, we run the risk of Pollyanna effect.
Right.
And you don't want to be running around with that. But failure is a further attempt in learning.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the worst that's going to happen?
Well, you fail.
You fail. Then what?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Karas Wright Show. I'm Karas Wright. We are going to have a really candid conversation today with one amazing female entrepreneur who is in her first year of starting a business. Terra Hall started TAKEsnacks spring of 2025. And really, the conversation that I think we're going to have today is all surrounding that being authentically yourself as you are building a business and recognizing, and I definitely know that from starting my own business, moving from being very scripted to being candid and off script and being okay with that and letting go of fear as we travel along. So welcome to the show, Terra. I am so excited to have you here. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, so I'm from Calgary originally, born and raised. Rare as rare can be.
Oh, yeah.
Born and raised. We moved to Okotoks probably 22-ish years ago and just came here and built our family here with my ex-husband. And so, raised our kids and worked in the community, volunteered. Worked part-time within the vet industries throughout many years of staying home with my kids. And that's sort of where it all started. Yeah.
And so you moved from being stay-at-home mom with part-time gigs to kind of going back to school to making this shift of, I got to do the thing that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And so TAKEsnacks was born.
Yes, TAKEsnacks was born. More so, I would say TAKEsnacks was born probably over a year ago, researching it. So It's a vending solutions company. And we work with corporations, throughout the Okotoks and surrounding area to help place vending machines in their facilities for their staff, public facilities, apartment buildings, things like that. Mm-hmm. So really, it came out of, I got divorced and my kids were getting old enough that child support was ending soon. It's turning 18, new season of my life. And so I wanted something, side hustle, that was going to supplement that income. So it was just researching, fun, side hustle. Where can I make some extra money? And started researching it. And then things slowly progressed. Originally, it was just sort of start with one machine and see how it goes. And see what that looks like and what the business itself was about, right? And I happened to be networking and met one of the girls in networking that had vending machines, and she had 3 of them. So I went and met with her and picked her brain and said, how did you get started and what did you do, right? It's funny when that projected from the time of, if I look back from a year ago, placing my first machine to now, and something that was supposed to be so just simple side hustle, because I was working in the financial industry at that point. So I just wanted something else that was kind of mine. I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. Even when I was at home with my kids, I used to do, home-based businesses. I used to do a lot of that kind of stuff. And I did own my own business years ago. It was completely different. That's where it started.
Mm.
And so it just sort of was something that was my own that I wanted to start to see where it went.
Mm. So you started with that first part-time gig, get the first vending machine in, and then it spiraled. And
Just see how it goes.
yeah,
Let's just see how it goes. See if I like it, see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, it spiraled because two great things happened is once you were in the business, I had won some great mentors and met some great people through the people that I was networking with. So one person hooked me up with another person, and then I had a conversation, and then he said, "Oh, well, you need to contact this person and for distributions." And so a lot of things happen based on conversation. One of my strengths is I can talk to people, right? So, and it doesn't matter who it is, whether I was at the vet clinics, at a sponsorship table for my kids volunteering for their activities and pounding pavement to go get sponsorships or whatever, I've always had a knack that I can talk to anybody, right? So, really big customer service orientated more so over the years.
Yeah. And you and I've had some conversations about the business, and customer service is really an important aspect for both. Like you and I share that in common, is it's not necessarily about the money. It is about making sure that we support those that we serve, whether it's in the vending machine, vending solutions business, or in my case, in coaching. I want to make sure that the experience is as good as it can be.
Totally.
And so because vending machines are really, you go in, you plug the machine, you get your product and away you go. How do you actually bring customer service into that?
Well, I like for some of my locations to really work two or three things. One, I like working with the management teams to see what kind of value they want to bring to their employees, because sometimes that's also an added value in a building to help with the employees' work who doesn't need a snack at 3:00, things like that. The second component is I like to go into the locations and actually get to know the people. So it's more, we also have QR codes for menu selections and things like that to cater to more, what's the word? I can't think of the word. More cater to what they want in the building, depending on what kind of a building, the ethnicity in the building, what we're working with, right?
Or I really, really need to have my protein bar in there, and that particular one isn't there. Although what I really want is my Snickers,
right,
and a Reese's peanut butter.
But we're going to try and be healthy.
We're going to try to be healthy.
That's right.
There we go.
Yeah. Or in another case of what they don't want in it as well, because you can have some venues that might have more of a health and wellness situation that they don't want certain products in the vending machine. So we will cater to that. I think one of my greatest customer service events that I did in December, which I was really happy with, is I went to one of our locations and we did a touch point of a power hour. Free vend. And it was like, come upstairs. They were doing a whole bunch of Christmas events for their staff. Different thing. I think at that point they were doing a gingerbread contest between the divisions. And it was like, okay, well, I'm willing to come up, and why don't you have a free vend day for everybody in the building? And I was there personally and got to have some great touch points with the staff and meet them. And, some were just, hit the machine and off and away they go. Some I met a great lady who we chatted for about 5 minutes and built that relationship. And built the relationship with also the management team at the same time. So, which was good because that's what I wanted. I didn't want a faceless vending machine company. There's multiple of those that you just go in, George fills the machine and off and away they go, where we do more different things with that, right? So one of the business strategies that we're doing quarterly is, especially the machines here in town, are like charitable donations to local charities here in town. So last quarter we did Okotoks Food Bank, and this quarter we're doing Mo's rescue missions and dog rescue. So we get to build our relationships within the community too, which is really great to have that opportunity.
I'm getting a real sense of how important connection is to you, but also it's the how can I actually be of service to other people and be part of that team and an extension of that team, which, you're a solopreneur right now. And there is a mindset that I'm not in leadership, even though I'm a solopreneur, I'm a business owner. Well, my challenge is that that's actually not the case. You are a leader, and you are a leader in community. You are a leader by the way that you connect with the management teams by saying, hey, I actually want to be an extension of that. So what do you have that is for your employee wellness or your employee social committee, and how can I be involved in that?
And the social committee in this particular location was actually really fun to work with, and got to see some of the events, and they did a great thing, right? Where we have other machines that we've had the opportunity to do the charitable donations, and management team is on board with that and supports that 100%. So I get the support too from those businesses, as well as supporting their business with having some extra value in the building, right? Or within the community. So it's been great with the transition of doing that.
Yeah.
And it's grown. Like, who would have thought from where I was beginning with it to now a year later? It's unreal.
When you look at the start, you talked a lot about the research that happened before you even bought that first machine. But what else set you up for success? Because there's a lot of startups out there and a lot of people that are thinking about starting a business. Because it is glamorous. It is, I don't have to work for the man anymore, and I can do my own thing and be my own boss. But on the other side, man, it's tough.
It's tough.
So what has helped you get through this first year?
Well, I think multiple things. Family, first and foremost, for sure. I have a great partner who's really supportive, and my kids are very supportive too. They're at the age now, they're 17, 18, 22. So they're also very supportive, and we're in a different season of life, right? So first and foremost, family. I don't think I would be able to do it without their supports. The other one is some great partnerships. So when I did the research, I was able to find some great partnerships with people that distributions and how that worked, right? So particularly, Feel Good Snacks had really taken on some great mentorships with me and was able to be a very trusting partner that could help me build this business with confidence. And that made a really big difference. So if you can find great partnerships with people that you trust, and they trust you, and they're authentic, you're authentic, and you can get her done, that can make a world of difference of where you're going to go to have that kind of supports. Of course, I've done coaching, right? So I've had business coaching, and I've done other coaching in the past from when I was in the financial industry and all the industries I've done. So that has certainly helped with a community of supports to be able to reach out to the people at the time that I need them, and reach out to those people at the time that I need them.
Reaching out's hard to do.
Reaching out is very hard to do.
What needed to happen in order because sometimes the ego gets in the way.
Do you know, so for me, I think because I'm easy to talk to people, and I have a sense of curiosity. And I also learned a long time ago, probably through my divorce the most, I can't do this by myself. So reaching out to me is a vulnerability, yes, but it's also a sense of security, because I know that 99% of the time, if I reach out to those people that I've connected with, they got me.
Yeah.
Right? They got me. So I think it's trusting the process, which has not been easy. Or, right, trusting the process. Having grace on myself that I can't do it alone. And I'm at the point that I don't know that I want to do it alone. I would rather have a team. And I think when I was first building this business, it was all about, I want a team. When I was doing vision work, it was all about teamwork. And if I read my journals like back 3 or 4 years ago, it's about being a part of a team. And my vision for that was skewed of what that team looked like, because my team used to look like in a vet clinic with vet techs and vets, or at a dealership with management and mechanics, or in the financial industry with associates and whatever. And that's not what the team ended up being. The team right now is my partnership, my family, and the people that I have surrounded myself with, friendships and business partners and multiple things that team, accountants, that's my team.
Wow. That is really profound.
Mm-hmm.
That sense of team doesn't have to be what traditionally we think it is. And very similarly, I mean, I came from a financial background, ran several branches, and my team traditionally were my advisors and my service staff and, the broader district and region team and all of that fun stuff. But as a business owner now, it is how I team and partner with my clients. It's how I partner with other business coaches and other coaches, other referral partners, my centers of influence, the community at large, to be able to say, how can I help support you? How can I help? And then what information do I need to know? Because I don't know everything. I'm the first right in history to agree that I don't know everything. I'm not always right.
I might not want to know everything in your brain at that moment.
I don't know. You know what? There's a sense of I'm a collector of knowledge, so I would hesitate on that. But that sense of team shifts.
It totally shifts.
And it needs to shift. And then eventually, as you get to that point of you need to expand, you need to add on team members, you have that recognition.
Right. And so it's been really different process to look at that, of what that team looks like. And I had to really dig deep of what that looked like. Because solopreneurship, as you know, can be really lonely. And you can get in, we've talked about this before, in the muck. And then you sometimes can't see the end of getting out of the muck because you're in the muck.
Yeah.
And that can be hard because, people think that owning your own business in any form is, glorified. I'm not working for corporate. I can make my own hours. But you're forgetting about the times where you're crying in the corner going, I don't know what to do next, or this didn't work, or there's other things. Now what?
Yeah. Yeah. The mornings that I've cried in the shower because, things aren't quite working out the way that I want. But by the time that cry is over and then the planning or here's what I need to do, step up and you're good to go.
Right.
Which is really, I think, foundational to being resilient as a business owner.
And you have to pivot. You have to be resilient. You have to pivot. And to me, I think a long time ago, I learned that I need help in this life. Whether it be in the season of my life, maybe I need a therapist to help me, or maybe I need a business coach to help me, or maybe I need to send somebody who has done it before, paved the path before, like my partnerships that I've got within the vending machine business that have done it and been there. And why am I struggling in the muck trying to figure it out?
Yeah, we don't have to do it alone.
We don't have to do it alone. Sometimes, ego gets in the way, right? Ego gets in the way. Do I really need to? I don't think my ego as much gets in the way anymore. I give myself grace now the older I get. I think sometimes when you're in your 50s, you get to say, I can do it this way.
You're using much softer language than I would. But yeah, I would totally agree with you. There becomes a sense of confidence in it. But with a little bit of spice.
Totally
a little bit of spice.
Because now you have you've walked some paths now.
Yeah.
Right? And different season, you've walked some pretty big paths with either raising your kids or whatever it is.
But is it just 50, or is it also the fact that, we've both been through divorces.
Mm-hmm.
We've both had challenging workplace situations, challenges with children. And so it comes with that a sense of experience and wisdom. And I'm going to do it my way.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's just that you don't maybe become more confident that in your own right to be able to make the decision of what's going to work for you now and not anybody else. I'm not necessarily appeasing my children as much as I was when they were little, or doing things in certain ways, or, making sure you don't do A, B, and C in their sport groups, whatever it is, work, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think you gain the confidence to just be able to know when to say no, the confidence of when to say yes.
When to be discerning on when to say no or yes.
Yeah.
It's, I had a mentor when I was an advisor, Therese Dugan, brilliant leader, branch manager. And I came in one day, I was having a really hard time. Came in, and on my desk was a note, and I still have it to this day. And it says, passion is not what other people think of you. It is what you want to do. Underline on want, capital letters. And every time I get off my path, I come back to that, because it's how is this supporting the passion and the drive of what we want to bring to the world?
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been, when we are mothers and we are parents and we are employees and working for other people, there is a sense of duty and responsibility.
Right.
But when we intertwine that, because I think there's been an aspect of, and give up, you have to give to get, but what does and look like?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a lot like this concept of or, shift it to how does and work,
Mm-hmm.
and what needs to soften.
I try very hard I've learned that word a few years back doing some coaching, and it was interesting and an eye opener of, can you always not put an and on instead of either or?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it was kind of a opening mindset of, what does that look like with it in that regards?
Mm-hmm.
And you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I can be a mother and I can start researching something.
Right.
Now, for me, I think a lot of the struggles were to balance motherhood and a career and was difficult for me.
What was difficult?
I think the balance of, and I didn't even know what kind of mom I wanted to be, right? If anything, the financial component of, as we all struggle with, do we put our 2 kids in daycare and go back to work and have to pay that? And I'm gone for that 40 hours a week. And really, at the end of the day, does the financial component make sense? Versus me just staying at home and trying to manage part-time and
Right.
supporting, at that time, my husband, who was in, oil and gas and 24/7, 365. And we did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So trying to figure out those components of what that looks like was interesting to go through that process, right?
Yeah. I really value what you're saying there. And what's coming up for me was being in such a different situation where I was the breadwinner for multiple different situations. I ended up just rising up the ranks where my husband had taken different roles or ended up being the person that stayed home with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so completely different situation.
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip side of that, I balanced the challenge of feeling like I was letting down my kids because I wasn't there fulfilling the role of a mother full time, where my ex-husband was the one that was dropping them off to dance and doing the makeup and the hair for dance competition and pick up and drop off. And so there was this real sense of, I'm not fulfilling my duty as a mother.
Right.
But looking now, because my daughter is now 26 and my son is now 22, they don't remember it in that sense. They just looked at us as a team. So that fear ended up being unfounded, and it was here and it was here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I did the opposite with that. I had a hard value of always having this niche or itch that I wanted this grand career.
Oh.
And probably feeling less valued with the financial component and not being able to contribute as much, right? Financially, probably. at the time, even though we chose it together,
Mm.
even though I was, still maintaining the house and did, but there was a part of me that wasn't necessarily, doing the laundry and feeding the kids and getting them to the activities and doing a thing and working part-time wasn't enough. If there was I wasn't making the money. I wasn't doing that kind of thing. Now, granted, there was a sacrifice there. We focused on his career. And when my kids were old enough for me to go back to work, there was a sacrifice there. Was I going to be able to go into a corporate role because I haven't worked my way up to the top? No, I wasn't. Even though I did have an education in management and my background was very much retail management in my 20s and 30s, right? I still didn't have that solid work experience of that and had to really rely on my customer service. I went back to school. I did everything to be, on the financial aspect of things, went back to school and got some licensing and I did it, right? But it's amazing how you had that component of guilt or worry about being away from the kids. And I had the worry I was with my kids, but I almost had a little bit of a resentment that I didn't have the career.
Mm.
Right? So
Yeah.
until now, I guess. Now
you get that opportunity to shine. And there's sacrifice because on the backbone of being the breadwinner, I wasn't operating and running the career. It just happened. I fell into banking, wasn't what I wanted to do, and was really good at it and was really good at the leadership. And so I rose the ranks, and then it became an obligation because of the financial aspect, right? If I'm not pulling a certain income, we're going to have a hard time paying the mortgage.
Right.
And yes, all the investments were there and we were doing all the things that you need to do. But for me to take the leap into being a business owner, and I always had little side gigs going, and I've always had something on the side educational, but I didn't have I use the excuse. I'm going to correct what I'm saying here. I use the excuse of I couldn't take that income drop from moving from corporate until I knew I had the backing or the right catalyst. And for you, that catalyst was that, oh my goodness, child support's ending. For me, it was my husband really said, go do it. You need to finally step into that. And so Aaron gave me the gift of saying, I've got you. We'll figure it out. You've got to go and build your legacy.
Right.
And so that has meant me being not the breadwinner anymore, different relationship, and being in that situation where I'm not feeling like I'm holding up my side of the personal financial because I'm reinvesting everything back into the business. And so I do relate and understand in a different way to how you raise the kids. So that's really fascinating. But then fast forward, because your kids are now grown. 3 out of the 4 of mine are now grown. And it's like, okay, now's the time.
Oh, now's the time for sure. And different support systems and different season. Because now the focus can be, I feel confident now that the focus can be on the business. And still be there for the kids. But the focus is different now. And because we had so many things like with the kids that just dragged me back with them. Like I had a son that was sick, right, for a few years. That was really after my divorce. So, I mean, there was a lot of stabbing in the dark. What am I going to be when I grow up? Now I'm divorced and I don't have that income and I have child support, but that's all going to end and working full time again and being away from home. So there was a lot of stabbing in the darks in the last 8 years. And what's going to stick? Right?
I got this visual of you stumbling around in the dark trying to find the light switch.
Well, I'm going to take these courses to see how this goes. Right. Oh, that didn't work. All right, next.
Yeah. And we were both single parents for a little bit of time before that, the next relationship, and we got married again. And I think that's really an important aspect of so many different experiences shape who we are now. And it's really easy for some people to kind of go, oh, woe is me. But you haven't taken that and I haven't taken that. It's a matter of growth. And so what anchors you into looking at things through a personal growth standpoint instead of a sense of lack?
Oof. I think that can be an ongoing
Okay.
struggle of I'm learning in the long run to be patient with myself and the business and other things. I think you can get caught in the lack. You can.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a minute to, to take a step back and really think of what the end goal is. I think a lot of that is growth. And a lot of it is, you know what? I have failed. Quite lovely, actually. And I think there's two things at the beginning when I first took some big leaps. I took the leap to get divorced. I took the leap to quit a pretty good paying job to go into that financial industry and take a very big leap. That didn't end the way I wanted it to end, but it didn't mean that I did not grow through that whole entire process. And I learned a lot of great things. I faced the fears and I did it anyways, which was a great book that helped me with that. You said earlier about being comfortable in the fear of, I'm not necessarily comfortable in the fear. I'm not necessarily happy about, but I understand it now. I'm not necessarily, I know how to navigate it better. Am I 100% comfortable in it? No, but can I get through it? Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference in the confidence part with that part of the fear. And of course, I think failure is growth. I think you have to, if you don't try it and you fail, what's the best case scenario? I almost said it. Did you notice that?
I did.
I almost said
I love your reframe. What's the best case scenario?
What's the best case scenario? Because that's a work in progress versus what's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? It's all going to work out.
My husband says, whenever you're faced with something, it can be a decision, a challenge, or whatnot, you need to step outside it and you need to walk around the problem. I do some coaching with a firm called Level 52, and we call that forecasting friction. And that is really about looking at, because if we don't look at the dark without the light, we run the risk of Pollyanna effect.
Right.
And you don't want to be running around with that. But failure is a further attempt in learning. And what's the worst that's going to happen?
You fail.
You fail. Then what?
Yeah, then
it's
what?
I often thought divorce was going to be the worst thing, and hanging on to a situation that wasn't good for either party and wasn't healthy for the kids. I didn't make the decision. He made the decision.
Right.
But I was going to be okay with it. I was going to be fine with it. I'm resilient. I can stand up. I can do the same thing. I went into a partnership after I left corporate. That was my decision, but I went into a business opportunity, and I didn't make the decision for that to end, but I'm damn glad that it did, because they saw something in me that I couldn't, which was the resilience. And talking to those individuals afterwards, it's like, no, because what you're building now is going to be so much bigger than what it would have been if you stayed with us.
Right.
I was pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I want to do and I want to build this for you because you gave so much to me.
Right.
But they gave me a bigger gift. My ex-husband gave me the biggest gift of all when we separated.
Right.
I didn't look at it as the time. I looked at it as a monumental failure.
I made a lot of it. I was the opposite. I made the decision, most of the decisions. I made the decision to get the divorce. I made the decision to leave the dealership to go into the financial industry. I also made the decision to leave the financial industry after a certain amount of time. And some of those were getting more comfortable, not 100% comfortable ever, of making hard decisions. But there is somewhat of a comfort to a degree that I know I can make those hard decisions if I have to, or if I'm unhappy with it, or if I think it's not serving me anymore, that I can do it. and I'm going to be okay. It all works out.
Yeah.
It all works out at the end of the day. Maybe not the way you planned and not the way you expected. I've also changed my expectations over the years too. Sometimes I go into things with not necessarily any expectations of how it, just curiosity of, well, let's see how this goes.
Mm-hmm. I set expectations more now than I did in the past, but I'm okay if those expectations aren't met.
Right.
So it's rooted in curiosity, just like what you're saying. It's rooted in that ability to understand and the learning opportunity and what is this like for somebody else? Like I'm sitting here listening to you talk about I've made all those decisions and part of me is going, damn, I wish I had that courage. Because the few times that I have taken and made those big steps, I'm really proud of myself at the other side. But I'm really proud of the fact that when stuff has happened to me, I'm really resilient.
Right.
And I'm really good at picking up and going, okay, that was over. That happened. I fell down the hill. I rolled down. I broken my hip and my leg and whatever, and I can pick up. I can move on, right? Like, okay, that's over.
Yeah.
And that's that optimism, the realism on the optimism side of things. So I look at this and I'm like, oh, geez, I want to be like Terra. I really want to be like Terra.
Part of it's resiliency and it's just being able, I'm pretty solution-based.
Yes.
Right? I can come up with multiple solutions. Sometimes that can serve me really, really well. Sometimes that can bite me in the ass. Right? Depending on who the solutions are for, right? So I can get caught with coming up with too many solutions for not the right things. So I think that being solution-based actually gives me some resiliency as well. At the same time, I can pick myself up, brush myself off. Now, can it take a few months? Yeah, there's times it can. Can it take a couple years? Yeah, it can. My divorce took a couple years to get over, right? It took some time to find who I was after that. Picked myself up and off and away you go again, right? And what's next? What's next? And I think that coming up with those type of solutions and curiosity, like I've always been curious. I've always been able to talk to people. I go in asking questions. Part of that has brought me to today, right? Doing the research for TAKEsnacks and the vending machines. It was asking questions from one person who connected me with another person who connected me with another person and just getting curious about that and seeing what that looks like. Personal, business, doesn't matter, right? And how that works.
It's almost as if that mucky mess is what's needed to have the resiliency to build whatever the legacy is. For you and me, it's our businesses.
Right.
Right.
And I think the realization that everybody can be in the muck at any time.
It's how you choose to navigate through the muck.
That's right. And do you need the supports? Do you have the people? Whatever that looks like, partner, therapist, coach, whatever it is. But when you're in the muck, I'm assuming most people want help out of the muck.
Yeah.
Right?
Gratitude is a really great thing, right?
Yeah, blessing all the time, gratitude.
It's okay, you know what, this is a really crappy situation, but what am I grateful for? That's actually when my 2 months after my separation happened was when I started my gratitude practice. I still carry that to this day. And it allows us to, no matter what is happening, we can sit down and look at, there's a bright spot, there's a learning opportunity, and there's something that will help us carry us through and garner that resilience and the grit.
Right. I think we went through that. We had times that I've lost that little gratitude of. And I think you've even said, Terra, go back to the gratitude. Go back to the gratitude. And some people might say, oh, that's, what do they say, the woo-woo or whatever it's called, and in the same token, time and time and time again especially in the last 3 or 4 years, I've seen it work. Yeah. I've seen it work for me personally and other people, that if you just get that intention and go there, it works.
There is a lot of science that backs up that gratitude does shift your brain chemistry. Now, we could go in another hour to be able to have that conversation behind that. But I want to thank you so much for sharing so openly and so graciously with our audience. If there was one piece of advice that you would give to someone who is in the muck right now, whether it's personal or business, what would it be to help them through?
Well, I think, like you just said, I think the biggest one is always go back to the gratitude and take a look of what. And that could be as simple as be grateful for the sun, that the sun raised today and what that looks like.
Yeah.
That helps you get out of the muck, right?
With gratitude.
With gratitude.
And so with gratitude, I am so grateful, Terra Hall, TAKEsnacks, for being here on the Karas Wright Show. Till next time, we wish you gratitude and excitement for the future.